Does China have the possibility of invading Taiwan? Let's start with the assumption that waging war has consequences, unless you're George W. Bush and feel like invading Iraq. However, let's look at the most plausible scenarios. The question is not whether China has the will to invade, because Xi Jinping has made it clear that Taiwan is his crush, and he doesn't like being friend-zoned. I imagine him at night sleeping while saying, "Taiwan, Taiwan, I love you." This is a video I've always wanted to make, somewhat like the porn video with my uncle. Anyway, China's biggest advantage is the proximity of Taiwan. Look at them, so close that it almost seems like they love each other. So close but so far. China could play on speed by attacking simultaneously by sea and air, destroying Taiwan's major defensive infrastructure in the shortest time possible. In the early hours of the attack, Taiwan would be completely alone, having to resist a military power much larger than itself. David against Goliath. Me against Andrew Tits destroying me. Taiwanese military would probably go to the coasts to try to thwart the landing of Chinese troops. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is sleeping in the White House. Someone enters his room and throws a bucket of water on his face to wake him up. Waking Biden is the hardest part. They tell him, "Bro, there's a big mess happening, wake up." From what is known, the United States has said they would directly intervene to defend Taiwan, unlike in Ukraine. Also, because Taiwan is the world's leading semiconductor producer, unlike Ukraine. See, Ukraine, if you had produced semiconductors, the United States would be completely on your side. See what the economy does. Once Biden is awake, within a few hours, the American response would arrive from military bases of allied countries closest to Taiwan, such as Japan, Australia, and the island of Guam. This would be the beginning of a war between two superpowers, challenging to predict. Probably India would take advantage of the chaos to resolve pending issues it has at the border with China, saying, "Bro, now that they're busy, they won't even notice us. Let's go take everything back. Let's climb Everest." But let's see, how else could the United States intervene besides militarily? Since China represents almost a quarter of the world economy, economic sanctions would be less effective, or rather, from the West, it would be like saying, "If I sanction you, I'm sanctioning myself too," a mirrored reflection. Because your economy is so large that unless I replace you and start trading with aliens, I will also suffer. A significant card that the United States could play is blocking China's weak point, the Strait of Malacca, next to which, strangely, there is an American military base, because where do you not find American military bases? They are everywhere, like McDonald's, probably even at my grandma's house. The Strait of Malacca is very narrow, certainly narrower than my anus. In fact, a significant portion of global trade passes through it, including Jordan Belfort's snow, but above all, 80% of China's imported oil. How do you fight a war without oil and snow? Certainly, the United States would try to hinder the ships coming from the Middle East and supplying the Chinese war. However, with the war in Ukraine, the amount of oil that China imports via the ocean is being replaced by Russian gas and oil, which were previously directed towards Europe, making China less dependent on the Strait of Malacca.